You ever feel like your brain just has way too many tabs open? Seriously, you're trying to nail a deadline, remember to pick up milk, figure out dinner, all at the exact same time. It's a lot. But what if you could just tune your brain? Today, we're diving into the wild, fascinating world of neurotechnology, a field that's promising to help us do just that, to literally upgrade our own minds for better focus, more creativity, and maybe just a little more zen in our wonderfully chaotic lives.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at the incredible promise of brain tuning. Then, we'll pop the hood and see how this tech actually works. After that, we got to separate the real science from the marketing hype, what's legit and what's not. Then, we'll talk about navigating the kind of wild west of the consumer market. And I promise I'll leave you with a super practical, smart user's guide so you can make some really informed choices for yourself.
All right, so let's start with the big idea, the one that gets everyone so excited. Imagine you could program your brain the way you build a playlist for the gym, dialing up some laser focus for a huge project or queuing up deep relaxation at the end of a long, crazy day. That, right there, is the promise of brain tuning.
I mean, seriously, who hasn't wished for this? You're juggling a career, a family, an inbox that just never ever sleeps, and the idea of just flipping a switch to find that calm, focused flow state, it sounds like an absolute dream come true. And that's pretty much the superpower these new gadgets are promising us.
And listen, this isn't just some sci-fi fantasy. It's actually rooted in our own biology. Your brain is electric. It's constantly buzzing with these tiny electrical pulses that we call brainwaves. You can think of it as the background music of your mind. And it turns out, the rhythm of that music is directly tied to how you think and how you feel.
So, a simple way to think about these brainwaves is like different gears in a car. Beta waves, that's your drive gear. You're focused, you're alert, you're solving problems. Alpha waves are kind of like shifting into neutral. You feel relaxed, you're calm, maybe your mind is just wandering creatively. And gamma, well, that's like hitting the nitrous button. That's your brain in overdrive for those moments of super high-level, intense thinking.
Okay, so if our brains have all these different gears, the next question is obvious, right? How can we learn to actually shift them whenever we want? And that's where the technology comes in. It's all built on these two really cool concepts, neurofeedback and biofeedback.
So, the first piece of the puzzle is the EEG. It's a big word, electroencephalogram, but the idea is simple. It's a totally safe way to basically eavesdrop on the electrical symphony happening in your brain. You place these little sensors on your head, and the device can read your brainwave frequencies in real time. It's pretty amazing. Now, biofeedback. This is the secret sauce. The idea is so powerful. What if you could actually see or hear what your own brain is doing, moment to moment? By making an unconscious process, like your brainwaves, visible, you create this feedback loop. And that loop allows you to learn how to influence those brainwaves on purpose.
So this is how it all comes together in the real world. You put on a headset that's reading your brainwaves. Then you might play a game where, say, a cartoon bird only flies higher when your brain produces more of those calm alpha waves. So just by trying to make the bird fly, you're actually training your brain to relax. It's literally a workout for your mind, and you get rewarded for doing it right.
Okay, I know, this all sounds incredible, maybe even a little too good to be true. So we need to put on our skeptic hats for just a minute and ask the really important question. Does the science actually back up all these amazing claims? It's time to separate the hype from the cold, hard reality. So, you'll see claims like this one all over the place. And it's super compelling, isn't it? The idea that peak performance isn't just some random talent you're born with, but it's a skill you can train, something that can be scientifically engineered. That's a powerful message.
But then you have the other side of the coin. Here's a neurologist, Dr. Steven Novella, who's basically saying, hold on a minute. He argues that, while these devices might be able to influence your brainwaves for a little while, there's just not much good evidence that they create any real, lasting change in how your brain actually functions day to day.
So what do the numbers say? Well, when scientists took a hard look at all the credible studies together in 2023, they found what's called an effect size of 0.27. What does that even mean? Basically, it means that yes, neurofeedback has a real, measurable effect on attention, but it's a small one. Think of it less like a massive transformation and more like a gentle nudge in the right direction.
So here's the bottom line when you put it all side by side. On one hand, you have the marketing, which promises these rapid, huge, life-altering changes. On the other hand, the science says, well, there's a small, real effect, but we still have a lot of questions about how long it lasts. And we cannot forget the power of the placebo effect. Just believing something is going to help you focus can actually help you focus. Our minds are powerful.
And this huge gap between the hype and the reality, well, that brings us to our next big point. The world of consumer neurotech is absolutely exploding right now, but it's largely unregulated. A lot of people are calling it the Wild West.
A big report from UNESCO recently said exactly that. The situation is a bit like what you see here. The technology, which is being supercharged by AI, is just galloping ahead way, way faster than our ability to create rules or ethical guidelines to manage it. We're all basically pioneers out on this new frontier, for better or for worse.
And look, this isn't just a theoretical worry. This slide shows parts of a real FDA warning letter that was sent to a neurotech company. They were called out for making medical claims they couldn't prove, and for not even having basic quality control in place. This is a real-world example of what can happen when there's not enough oversight.
So, with all that in mind, how are we supposed to navigate this exciting but, let's be honest, pretty complicated space? Okay, let's pull all this together into something really practical. Your smart user's guide to all this brain-tuning tech.
First things first, let's cut through all the noise and just focus on the evidence. Where is there solid, clinical proof that this technology actually works? Let's get down to brass tacks.
This table is really where the rubber meets the road. It shows us where the science is the strongest. Now, when it's used in a clinical setting with a professional guiding you, the evidence for biofeedback is incredibly strong for a whole bunch of conditions. For things like ADHD and panic disorder, it's rated at level 5. That's the highest level of scientific proof you can get. For things like headaches and PTSD, it's also rated as efficacious. This is where the tech is really truly proven what it can do.
Okay, so here it is. This is your practical takeaway, a simple checklist for your own #WorkLifeOS. Before you even think about buying a device or trying a service, run it through these 4 steps. 1. Get crystal clear on your goal. 2. If it sounds too good to be true, like effort-free change, it probably is. 3. Ask for the proof, and I mean real, peer-reviewed studies, not just flashy testimonials. And 4, and this is the most important one, if you are dealing with a medical issue, always talk to a professional first.
So, where is all of this headed? Well, the future is pretty wild. Researchers are now looking at combining these technologies with AI to create personalized programs that adapt to your unique brain in real time. Can you imagine a mental fitness coach that knows exactly what your brain needs in any given moment? That's the powerful future that we're headed towards. And that leaves us with this final, really crucial question. We are standing right on the edge of a brand new frontier. The ability to directly interface with our own minds, the potential is absolutely immense, but so are the responsibilities that come with it. So how are we going to explore this frontier responsibly? How do we make sure this technology empowers all of us safely and ethically? The conversation is really just getting started. Thanks so much for exploring it with me.